Hello students, today I am going to teach you second lesson from your English course book. The writer of the lesson is Jonathan Swift. Jonathan Swift. Main characters of the lesson are Gulliver and the tiny Lilliputians. And the name of chapter is Gulliver in Lilliput. Lilliputians are the people who live in Lilliput. Lilliput is the island. People live in India are called Indians. People live in America are called Americans. Similarly, the people who live in Lilliput are called Lilliputians. Children, the story is taken from the famous novel Gulliver's Travel. Jonathan Swift has written a novel named Gulliver's Travel, and this story is taken from this novel. Hero of this story is Gulliver, and who is voyager and whose ship crashes into some rocks in the Pacific Ocean and it gets sinks. Swimming through the ocean, Gulliver reaches a dry land. As he know how to swim, and by swimming only he reaches to a dry land. Rather, all the people who were in the ship were sank and drowned. Because of hunger and tiredness, he falls asleep, and swimming made him tired, and there was no food in sea. That's why he was hungry also, and because of hunger and tiredness he fall asleep, so jata hai. When he woke up, he find himself in the land of teeny people. When he woke up, जब वो जागता है, he finds himself in the land of teeny people. When he opened his eyes, he saw so many teeny people, so many very small people around him. The story is just like the autobiography of Gulliver. While reading, it seemed that Gulliver is talking to you. The story is just like the autobiography of Gulliver. So let's read the lesson. Here we go. Listen. I slept very well for several hours. When I woke up, I tried to get onto my feet, but I could not move. My arms and my legs and my long thick hair were tied to the ground. I could feel several thin pieces of strings across my body from neck down to the top of my legs. The only part of my body that I could move was my eyes. After swimming and tiredness and hunger, I slept. Gulliver is saying that I slept very well for several hours. Many hours he slept. And when he woke up, he tried to stand up, but he could not move because he was tied with the strings on the ground, with the pieces of strings across his body. The whole body was tied with the strings on the ground. He was lying on the ground, and the only eyes he could move. Let's see the next paragraph. I could hear a lot of noise around me. Many things were moving about, but I could not see them. After a while, I felt something on my left leg. It was alive, and it moved gently over my body towards my chin. Now he was able to hear a lot of noise and feel many things moving about, but not able to see them because he was lying straight. After some time, he felt that some living thing is moving gently over his body. something is moving on his body. He felt that, and something coming towards his chin. Suddenly, I saw in front of me, standing on my body, a very, very small man. He was only about 6 inches tall. He held a bow and an arrow. Then I felt about 40 more little people climbing over me. Suddenly, what happens? He saw a very small man, very, very small man standing on his body, and the man was not more than 6 inches tall. The man was about only 6 inches tall, like your pen, just the height of your pen. He held, and the man had bow and arrow. And again he felt that some more people climbing over him. Next, I could not believe it. I was so surprised that I shouted very loudly. And all the little people ran away in fright. Many jumped to the ground, and some were badly hurt when they fell off my body. After seeing this much small people, we also will not believe that he could not believe, and surprised to see these many short manes on his body. And after seeing that people, he shouted very loudly. He was like a giant in front of them. And the Gulliver was like a giant in front of the little men. He shouted loudly, and all the little people ran away in fright. He was just like a giant man in front of them. So on his shouting, they fright, they get fear and ran away here and there. Many jumped to the ground. Who were on his body, they jumped on the ground, and while jumping, they hurt also. But they returned very soon. One of them came very close and called out in a high, clear voice, but I could not understand his language. As the land was very different, amazing, so their language was also different. He could not understood his language. See the next paragraph. Lying there made me very uncomfortable. I tried to free myself by breaking some of the strings which had been tied to stakes in the ground. Stakes are nothing but the pieces of wood set in the ground for support. While lying, he felt uncomfortable. He was not comfortable lying. The strings, he was tied with the strings, and it was very uncomfortable. He tried to break that strings, and he managed also that. I managed to free my left arm and tried to pull hard on the left side of my head. He managed to free his left hand. It was very painful, but I succeeded in loosening some more stakes. He succeeded in loosening some more stakes. Now I was able to turn my head about 2 inches. Now he could turn his head because he loosened some stakes and strings he broke. Look at the picture. The picture is of stack. Okay, the wooden piece which is set into the ground for support. As I was doing this, the little people ran away. When he was trying to loosening himself, the little people ran away. I heard someone shout an order, and all at once about 100 arrows shot through the air at me. And while doing this, the people get afraid, and they thought that now this giant man can attack us. So before attacking him, they attacked. Someone gave some order in a great voice, and with that order, hundreds of arrows they shooted to the Gulliver. Those that landed on the face and hand left like sharp needles. As the people were only 6 inches tall, their arrows also very small, very tiny, and their arrows are like only needles. But when needle pierce, it hurt. It is painful. Students, look at the picture. This is the picture of an arrow. I shouted with pain, and I covered my face with my left hand and tried to break all the strings. Because of that arrows, it was painful, and he shouted with the pain. He covered his face with his hand and tried to break all the strings. I wanted to get free, but the little men shot more arrows. Some tried to push their spears into me. Yes, spear, a pointed weapon. Spear is the pointed weapon. Look at the picture I have drawn for you in the bottom. Luckily, my jacket was made of strong cloth, and their spears were not sharp enough to go through that. They started to throw spears, push their spears into him, but luckily his jacket was very made with a strong cloth. It was thick, so that the spears could not, and the spears also were not sharp enough. So he he saved. I decided to lie still. When the little people saw me lying still, they stopped shooting, and he lay down still and stopped his moving. And after stopped moving, the little people stopped shooting also. Then they built a little platform. Its top was about 18 inches from the ground. One of the little men climbed onto the platform and began to speak, but I could not understand anything that he said. I was in pain because it was so hot. I opened my mouth and pointed to eat because I was hungry. He understood. After stopping shooting, they built a little platform near the Gulliver, and the platform was about only 18 inch from ground. It was just 18 inch high. One of the little men climbed onto the platform. and start speaking, but the language was different, so it was not that Gulliver was not able to understand anything. Gulliver was in pain because the sun was shining very hot and he was hungry also. He opened his mouth and pointed to it. The man who was standing on the platform understood and listened then. He ordered some people to place ladder against my sides, and this they did at once. The man who was standing on the platform ordered to place the ladder against Gulliver's sides, and the people did this very fast. More than 100 men climbed the ladder carrying basket of bread and meat. Their loaves of bread were very small, that I ate 3 of them at a time. And through that ladder, 100 men, more than 100 men climbed through the ladder. What was they were carrying? Basket of bread and meat. For whom? For Gulliver. Their loaves of bread was very small. Their loaves of bread were very small because the people were very small. That's why they all things very small. And when he ate, when he take one bite, Gulliver's one bite means there 3 loaves of bread. 3 loaves of bread he ate in one bite only. Look at the picture of ladder. Ladder is used to come and go up, come down and go up. One can go up and come down through ladder. When I was thirsty, they rolled a barrel close to my head. It held about half a pint of wine. When they come to know that Gulliver is thirsty, so they rolled one barrel towards him, and that barrel held half a pint of wine. Barrel is a wooden container, and that barrel contained half a pint of wine. Half pint is the unit for measuring liquid. Near about 1 cup wine was contained in that wooden container, that is barrel. The little people were pleased because I had eaten their food, but when I wanted to be free, they made it clear that I could have food but not my freedom. The little people were pleased. They become happy because Gulliver had eaten their food. But when Gulliver wanted to be free, they said no, could have food but not freedom. So children, here is the end of chapter. Hope you all understood and liked the lesson. Thank you.